Hey friends, in today's video we are talking all about tips and tricks to make the eyes look larger, more round, more open. So if you are constantly looking for ways to make your eyes look larger with makeup, this video is for you. Let's get started. Okay, you guys, let's dive in. I have most of my makeup on except the eye makeup. We're really focusing on eyes and technique. Mainly this video is going to be about placement. So when you are trying to achieve the look of larger eyes and just a bigger eye shape, maybe you have small eyes and you want to make them look larger, maybe you have almond eyes and you want to make them look more round, we're really going to be focused on placement. I'm going to be breaking this down and explaining why placement and color and texture, how that all plays a role into how the eyes perceive your features, whether it's your eyes, we're talking about eyes today, or your cheekbones, or whatever it might be. It's very important to know the theory behind all of these when you're doing your makeup so that you can use makeup to enhance, to diminish, to alter, to just kind of trick the eye. So the topic and the goal for today are tips to make the eyes larger. We are going to start with applying a primer to the eyes. Now, regardless of what technique you're trying to do, whether it's larger, smaller, more almond, more round, I would recommend always starting with a primer, you guys. Primers just really, they do a few things. First and foremost, they give the eyeshadow something to adhere to. So if you have dry eyelids and you try and put powder eyeshadow on, it's going to have a hard time adhering and sticking and really getting that full pigment payoff. So that's one thing it does. Now, on the other hand, if you have oily eyelids and let's say, you're very oily and maybe that shadow will adhere, but it will be difficult to blend because it's going to grab and stick to that oil. A primer is going to help kind of create a layer between your lid and your eyeshadow so that the oil won't break down your eyeshadow throughout the day. It's also going to just increase the pigment payoff of your shadows. You'll notice that your shadows go on more vibrant, and it's a good primer will keep your shadows on all day. Today I'm using the Danessa Myricks Colorfix. Now this isn't technically an eye primer. This is kind of like, this product doesn't really have a specific task. You can use this for so many things. You can use this for eyeliner, for eyeshadow, on the face, on the lips. Obviously, I probably wouldn't use this some places, but this is very much an artistry-driven product, but it's great and easy to use for the everyday user. I'm using this shade for the primer because it's light and bright, and I'm taking my Nikki LaRose N16 brush. I am obsessed with using this brush for my liquid and my cream shadows. So I'm just gonna go right into the product. What I love about this brush is it has more of a tapered pointed tip, so it really works right here in that inner corner. And I'm gonna kind of pre-blend it on the hand just so I don't apply too much product. And I'm gonna start in the inner corner and I'm just going to sweep this all over the eyelid from the lash line. And I'm gonna take this all the way up to the brow. If you notice I'm taking my brush, I'm kind of running it on a clean paper towel. This product is pretty thick, so you wanna make sure you don't grab too much. I grabbed too much. Even by pre-blotting it, I had a little too much. So I'm just gonna go use a clean paper towel, remove any excess, and then go back and shear out. And I'm just kind of spreading it and placing this all over the lid from the lashes all the way up to the brow. Now, depending on the color you're using, you might not take it all the way to the brow. If you have a darker color, you don't want to take that all the way to the brow. But because this is light and bright, and it honestly kind of works as a highlight to the brow bone, this works perfectly. Another great option is like the MAC paint pot, you guys. That's a really great option as well. All right, and we are going to apply this all over. Just kind of bring it right under the brow and highlight. So now I have a nice sheer layer of this product, but you can see right away that just brightened up the eyelid. It canceled out any veins, any darkness. It just gave a really nice even canvas for my eyeshadow. So we are ready to go. Already the eyes look larger, right? Because they're brighter, and I lifted the brow. Essentially, I kind of lifted the brow. So I created more space. Of course, that's an illusion. I created more space visually, more space. When you look at me, you see more space here than you did before. Okay, you guys, next we're gonna start in with shadow. And I'm gonna be using a few Jane Iredale products for my eye makeup today. I did team up with Jane Iredale for this video, and I'm so excited because they have a brand new product that I'm really excited to share with you. It's a brand new Jane Iredale launch. It's a mascara, a tubing mascara. We're gonna get to that when we get to the mascara part, but Jane Iredale is a longtime partner of mine. I love, love, love this brand for so many reasons. They are just a high-performing cosmetics brand, super high-performing. That's how I initially fell in love with them, and I started talking about them on my channel. They got word that I was talking about them, and we just developed this beautiful organic relationship. And I know many of you guys love Jane Iredale, so I'm always always excited to partner with them. So please drop a comment and say thank you, Jane Iredale, for supporting this channel and supporting my community. Okay, you guys, let's dive in. We're gonna use this palette from Jane Iredale. This is the Naturally Matte eyeshadow palette. And Jane has these little eyeshadow palettes. They have 6 shades in them and they have a variety of different color schemes. I really love this. This is a fully matte palette. There's no shimmer to these, but these mattes are very beautiful. They're like a kind of like a soft velvety matte. So they're not dry, they're not patchy. They go on very consistently. They're just really beautiful mattes and they blend out beautifully. Sometimes matte shadows can be tricky to blend out. Not the case with these. And these shades are all neutral. For the most part, you get pretty much a warm palette here, but you do have a couple of shades in here that lean a little bit cooler, so it's not like a super hot, warm palette. It's got some versatility to it. We're gonna start with the BK Beauty 212 brush. This is a crease brush, and I love this brush because it's not too big, not too small. It's got a round domed tip to it. So what that does is it just diffuses shadow and creates like this beautiful sheer wash of color, really blends out and diffuses shadow. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna grab this light peach shade. I'm gonna grab the brush and kind of load up the brush on the side. I'm gonna use this and kind of sweep this over the eye primer just to kind of set that eye primer and give a little more brightness. And we're gonna blend this all the way up, all over the eyelid. We're gonna start at the lashes and go all the way up to the brow. So basically exactly on top of that Danessa Myricks Colorfix primer. Now, if you're a little lighter than me, you would use the shade that's slightly lighter in here. Perfect. Okay, so now that I've got that set, I'm gonna go in and create my first transition shade. And I'm gonna use the same brush. The 212 is perfect for this because again, it's not going to pick up and pack on a lot of color. It's just gonna create a soft diffusion, a soft wash of color. And I'm gonna go in, you wanna go in with an eyeshadow that is matte in texture and that is a few shades deeper than your skin tone, but not too deep, okay? So if the palette that you're using has one of those shades, great. When I look in this palette, I need a shade that's honestly lighter than any of these. So a good little hack or a good trick for you guys is use your powder bronzer. If you use powder bronzer, use your bronzer. Today I happen to use this Infallible L'Oreal bronzer in the shade Light, so I'm gonna go in with this. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create some definition. I'm gonna create a crease, but I'm actually gonna lift that crease, okay? So this is where we're getting specific to creating a larger looking eye. We're gonna lift that crease. So we're not gonna apply it exactly where the crease is. We're gonna use that as a starting point, but we're gonna make sure that the color diffuses upward. So we're lifting and creating more lid space. So I'm gonna start right out here in the crease, but then I'm gonna turn my brush upside down and kind of feather and fade that shadow up. Now a bronzer is perfect again because it's not too dark. It looks natural, right? It looks like a natural shadow in your crease, and that's what you want it to look like. You can always go in with darker shadows if you want a more dramatic eye look, but you don't want to start off with a dark shadow because it can just go wrong real quick, you guys. And part of the illusion of creating a larger eye, you're gonna wanna work with light shades. If you took dark shadow and put it all over the eye, it's gonna make the eye look smaller. So you definitely can have dark shadow incorporated into your eye look, but if the goal is to make your eyes look bigger, you need to have lighter shadows in certain placement. Okay, you guys, so now I have a little more definition. Do you see how I have a slightly definition? Like if you were to look at this eye, you wouldn't necessarily see that bronzer or realize there's makeup, but when you take it off, you can see that this eye has more definition than the other. So now we're gonna go and even that out, do the same thing, use the crease as the starting point, but then turn the brush upside down and just windshield wiper back and forth to get that color to diffuse and fade up. Okay, next we're gonna go in and create a little more definition, add a slightly deeper shade. We're gonna go back to this palette and I'm gonna take a smaller crease brush. So now I'm gonna go in with the 211. Let me show you the difference between the first crease brush I used and the one I'm going in with now. So you can see there's quite a difference in size here. If you were to look at these individually, the shapes are similar. Like if I were to see this on the website, this shape looks similar to this shape. But as you can see, when you compare the two together, very different, which means they're going to pick up and apply completely different. This smaller brush is going to pick up more shadow because it's a little bit more stiff, and it's going to apply a little more shadow, and it's also going to have a lot more control over where you apply it. So for that bronzer, we put it all over. Again, I don't want a dark color all over, but I do want a dark color right out here and just right into the outer half of the crease. So I'm going to use the 211 for that. And I personally love, 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 love mixing these two shades together. This really warm kind of brick color. It's like a saddle brick color. And then this shade that's got a little bit more of like a taupey kind of plummy hue to it. I love mixing these two together. There is something about it that just translates so beautiful on the eye. I'm gonna mix the two together, and we're gonna go in and we're gonna start this right in the outer part of the crease, okay? And I'm gonna look straight ahead. I'm not looking this, I'm not manipulating I'm not squinting my eye. I'm just gonna look straight into the mirror and slightly lift the brows. And we're gonna do that same trick of using the crease as a guide and then kind of letting that color diffuse upward. Then after that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take that and we're going to connect it to the lash line. So then I've just taken that shadow, I've placed it on the side of the brush versus the tip, and I'm just kind of placing that side of the brush and packing that onto this little outer corner that connects to the lash line. Perfect. So what we've done is by placing a lighter color here on the inner corner of the lid and putting some more contrast just in the outer corner in the crease, we are creating the illusion of a larger eyelid space. Now, once you pack it on, you don't want to blend it over too much. I'm going to go back with that 212 brush. I didn't add any color to this. Has just the bronzer, but I'm just going to use the tip of this and just softly blend out any lines. I want everything to just kind of, there needs to be contrast, but I also need the part where they fuse together to be very soft. Perfect. Oh, lovely. I just love this look. I don't think this look will ever go out of style. When I was in Oceanside a couple weeks ago, Oceanside, California, we were there with Current Body and Zip Beauty. They brought in Melanie Simon, who is the founder of Zip Beauty. She made the Zip Halo device, and she's an esthetician. She works with a lot of like A-list celebrities. She pulled out of her purse a Jane Iredale Pure Press Base foundation. She said that's all she wears and that's all she recommends to her clients. And so we connected over that. I was like, oh my God, you're a Jane Iredale girl. And she's like, oh my God, this is all I use. This is all I tell my clients to use. She's like, Jane Iredale makes such high quality products that are good for your skin. As an esthetician, she's all about products that are good for your skin. And she was a big, big Jane Iredale fan. So I love that, you know, someone that has that expertise and knowledge about skin, backing that these ingredients and these products are good for your skin, which you can't really say that about all makeup products. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of take a step back. I'm gonna compare the two eyes, and I'm just gonna go in and tweak and just kind of, you know, make them perfect and even. Also, if you notice these shades are a little contrasting, you've got one that's really warm and then one that's a little more plummy. I'm gonna kind of take more of the plum and add it to calm down any of the, if it's a little too warm or red, I'm just gonna kind of balance it out. And vice versa, if you go and you're like, oh, I got too much of that plummy shade in there, then go back in with the saddle color. I'm just going back and forth, back and forth. Okay, and then taking my 212 brush and softening the edges. Now, before we go on to eyeliner, you guys, I want to show you an extra little trick. Now, we've done a completely matte eye look. If you like shimmer, you can certainly swap out this color on the lid in the inner corner for a shimmery shade. I would avoid putting shimmer in the crease though. Try and stick with a matte shade there. But I do want to show you a little subtle highlight that you can give to the eye that's not necessarily foiled or metallic or super shimmery, but it still will give a slight subtle shimmer. And it's going in with your face highlighter. This is from Benefit. This is the Mini Dandelion Twinkle highlight, and this is such a beautiful product. I mean, it is old school. It's been around forever, but I love it. I'm going to take this little mini shader. This is a 209 from BK Beauty. It's like a little tiny eyeshadow brush. It gives me a lot of control because it's so small. And I'm going to load my brush up on both sides with this product. And I'm going to show you where I place this to really open up and enlarge the eye. I'm going to go right here in the inner corner with this, and then I'm also going to bring it right here, like around the side of the nose, the inner corner that kind of meets the side of the nose. We're going to do that. And then we're going to take this and we're going to spread this and bring it right onto the innermost part of the eyelid. Now, this isn't super shimmery. It's meant to go on the face, so it's not going to be real sparkly and real shiny, but you'll see it gives a little bit of a light reflection. Do you see what that does? It just really expands and opens up that inner part of the eye. Now, if you have like eyes that are really close together, this is a way to kind of expand that a little bit. If you have eyes that are further apart and you want to kind of make them look like they're closer together, I wouldn't do this trick because this will kind of make them look even bigger and make that space look bigger, is I guess more the point I'm trying to make. So this technique is really all about making the area that you place it look bigger. Oh, it's so pretty. I love how subtle it is. It's just this most beautiful, beautiful highlight. I'm actually gonna take my finger and I'm gonna kind of put it on my nose to show you guys how it looks on the skin. It just gives a little bit of light without looking too shimmery. It's so pretty. You can also do the same technique, take the same brush and pop it under the brow if you want. Do you see what that did? So pretty. And then I'm just gonna take a little bit, I'm not gonna go too heavy handed with it, but we're gonna place it in the inner corner on the lower part, like at the tear duct of the eye. Okay, perfect. There we go. So our shadow is done, you guys. It's time to move on to eyeliner. And eyeliner placement is so important and so key when you are trying to create an eye shape, create something that looks bigger or looks smaller. It's all about placement. Okay, today we're going to be using the Jane Iredale Mystical Eyeliners. This is the shade Dark Topaz, and this is a gel liner, and it actually comes with a little brush on the lid. I'm gonna be honest, you guys, usually I discard any like tools like brushes or sponges or applicators that come with makeup products because usually they just don't work, but this is the exception. This little eyeliner brush actually works really, really well, you guys. I love this shade. It's a really pretty rich brown and it has a slight little shimmer to it, a little bit of a sheen, which is really nice. It's a softer look than black. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna load this brush up on both sides with product, get it just fully loaded, okay? It's real loaded, it's real messy. But then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna kind of blot it on my hand, you guys, because I don't want too much product. I wanna make sure that the brush is coated in product, but I don't want chunks of product on the brush. Now for placement, I am going to apply this no further in than like the center of my lash line. I do not want to take this all the way to the inner corner if I can get away with not doing that. The only reason I would take it further in is if I kind of mess up or I don't get that transition smoothly into the lash line and then I have to pull it in further. But this brush makes it really easy. So I'm just going to turn this on its side and we are going to place it right on the outer half of the lash line and I'm just going to kind of run it in little strokes on my lashes. Now I'm gonna try and keep this really thin. I'm not gonna drag this all the way down to follow my natural lash line because then that'll kind of make my eyes look down. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to extend it out and create a little soft, tiny little wing. And it doesn't have to be perfect because in the next step, we're going to do something that'll just kind of smudge out any mess ups. So I'm gonna go in with my N12 Nikki LaRose brush. And before this has time to dry, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna use that shade that we used in the crease, this kind of mid-tone taupey brown, and we're just gonna run this right over that edge just to soften it a little bit. You're still gonna have a ton of definition from that liner, but the shadow is gonna slightly soften it, which is gonna make the eyes look bigger because it's just a really soft kind of smoky lash line versus a harsh line that constricts the eye. Oh, that's just so perfect. So beautiful. Do you see the difference in the two eyes, you guys? You can still see all the shadow. The liner didn't take up a bunch of real estate on my eyelid, but the lash line is enhanced, it's defined, it just looks more full. Instead of doing this gel liner on the lower lash line, it's too harsh for that. I'm gonna just go in with the shadow and we're gonna run the shadow. And the same idea for placement. We're gonna start in the outer corner and we're gonna try and run it just to about the middle of the eye, no further than that. And I like this shadow because it gives some definition, but it keeps things much softer down here, which is important. So let's go do the other eye. Now, if you want a BK Beauty brush for this technique, the 208 is perfection for this technique, you guys. It is really, really good, especially at getting a clean wing. All right, now let's go in and add the shadow to soften this. And the reason, I may have said this already, but just in case I didn't, the reason you want to do one eye at a time is because you want to go and do this little step before the liner has time to dry. Because once it has time to dry, it's designed to just stay in place and not budge, not move. And you want to have a little bit of time to move it. And the lower lash line, perfect. Okay, after I put shadow, I always go in with the brush that I use to set my concealer. And I just kind of run it just to make sure I sweep away any fallout. Beautiful. Oh, the eyes. I just love this look. It's a classic look and I just love it. So we're at mascara and I'm so excited to introduce to you a brand new product from Jane Iredale. This is the Jane Iredale Lash Fixation Tubing Mascara and I'm going to tell you all the benefits of the mascara as we apply it, and we're also going to include a little video here of me removing this later this evening. So this is future Lisa removing this mascara and talk about the ease and just how to remove a tubing mascara. So this mascara is a lengthening and defining mascara. It's also going to help lift and curl the lashes. It has a tapered tip to the wand. I'm going to show you guys the wand here. It's got a little tapered tip, so that allows you precise control. You can also apply this on the lower lash lines if you want. It has ingredients like jojoba oil in it to condition and nourish the lashes, and the wand binds your natural lashes to evenly coat this product all over your lashes. So let's go ahead and go in. I'm going to skip primer just to show you how this mascara performs. Normally I always apply a lash primer, but we're not going to do it today day because I want you guys to see. And I have not curled my lashes either, just a heads up. So I love to apply mascara by resting the wand at the base of my lashes, kind of wiggling it back and forth, and then pulling it up. Now, the reason behind this is to get as much product off of the wand onto the lash hairs and then pull up. It's also gonna help give a more rich looking lash line. Think of it as like an extra enhancement of eyeliner. You're gonna get just a much fuller lash than if you just go in and kind of coat like this. So rest your lashes by gently closing your eye, wiggle back and forth, and then start to pull up. And once you've got a good amount of product applied on the lashes, then you can go in and kind of really pull, define, and apply it, sweeping it up. Now you want to build this one lash at a time and really focus on building it while the formula is still wet. This gives a really pretty fanned out look. I like it because you get definition and volume, but it still gives like a natural wispy look to the lashes, you guys. I'm going to go in and apply another coat. I like the formula. It stays wet, so it gives you time to separate and build the lash, and it doesn't get clumpy, which I can really appreciate. You can really build and build as much as you want without the formula getting clumpy or heavy. And I'm just gonna kind of take the tapered tip and fan out the lash. That's the main tip on creating a larger looking eye with your mascara, is really building and building your mascara to get the most from it, but then also taking the tip of the wand, and tapering out and fanning out your lashes so that your lashes expand rather than just kind of focused in one small area. You want them to expand and fan out. Now, I got a little bit on my skin. Just leave it there. Resist the urge to clean it while it's still wet because you'll just make a bigger mess. Go back and clean it when it is dry because mascara is designed to adhere to hair, not skin. So it should just flake off. Now, when you guys go to remove this, I'm going to put that video up here again. It's supposed to be really easy removal. So you just want to get warm water and kind of saturate the lashes with warm water and then gently remove the mascara. You'll actually see the tubes coming off on your hands. It's not lashes, you guys. It's the tube of mascara. Very easy and gentle to remove. So when I remove this tonight, my plan is to take my micellar water that I normally use to remove my makeup, and I'm going to remove all of my face makeup. And then once I have that off, then I'll kind of warm up my lashes with warm water and just gently remove the tubes of mascara. So nice. I love this wand. It gives you great control and it's not messy at all. It has tiny little teeth that really allow you to get a grasp on each lash and pull and separate. Love it, love it, love it. I'm gonna go in and add a little more. This mascara is nice. It gives a lot of length and it's not overwhelming. You get some volume, but it's not a heavy formula. All right, and then I am gonna apply a little bit onto my lower lashes. Not much, just a little bit. Perfect, lovely, yay. I love trying mascaras. You know, I used to have lash extensions back in the day and I could never try new mascaras. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna go off camera and touch up my lip and then we'll come back to wrap this up. So that wraps up this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I'm gonna drop another one here. If you did enjoy this video, you'll enjoy this one next. Thanks for watching and I will see you in my next one. Bye.